Hello my friends, today we're going to do something very fun and look at the fighting styles that clearly influenced the Gilgamesh Devil Arm in Devil May Cry 5. The first thing I want to start with is the kick mode for Gilgamesh, which is clearly inspired by Capoeira. When you enter into kick mode, this move is called Meia Lua De Frente, which is a setup kick, essentially mostly used for distraction or for guiding your opponent into thinking you're going to move one way versus another. It's not a very powerful kick, but it is a very graceful move that emphasizes your control. When you hold the attack button, you're going to go into a sequence of 3 different moves. First starting in the Ginga, which is the basic back and forth step of Capoeira. Ideally, if you are a practitioner of Capoeira, you want to be stepping back and forth without rocking back so much. But as we see here, Dante clearly rocks back a far distance on his second step. But we can chalk that up to a floreo movement, which is essentially a flourish, a way to express yourself artistically in Capoeira. Floreo movements are useful in some degree by baiting your opponent into moving in or taking certain actions, but only when they're used well. From the Ginga, Dante moves into an au, which is somewhat like an adjusted cartwheel, where the main differences are you want to keep your eyes forward on your opponent rather than looking down at the ground, and you want to keep your back leg on the ground as long as possible before going and meeting the direction of the front leg. What is very interesting about the au is that it is used as a hit in the combo, and if you pay attention, the hit spark happens on the back leg of the au, which if you were going to hide a kick in the au movement, it would be the back leg you would want to use in order to carry the full momentum and force of your body as it twists. From the au, Dante lands in a seated position called Negativa. As he lands the au, he moves into a Rasteira, which is a low sweeping kick which can be either done with the forward leg or the back leg before returning to the Ginga. Looking at Gilgamesh's basic combo, we see that it starts off with a kick called Meia Lua de Compasso, which is Capoeira's signature kick. The Meia Lua de Compasso is a very hard kick to read because it trails behind the movement of the body, but is at a much higher level, whereas the rest of the body remains low to the ground. For the next move in the basic combo, Dante continues his momentum, pulls it up into a jump, and then does a roundhouse kick, which in Capoeira is called a Martelo. After which Dante lands with his other foot. Then Dante jumps and twists backwards, moving into a horizontal position, which is followed up with a downward kick. Whereas a kick like this is not one of the basic moves of Capoeira, the motion that sets it up is very reminiscent of an acrobatic move known as a Macaco, which is essentially used to create motion in the opposite direction that your body originally moves. For the Swordmaster moves in kick mode, it starts off by holding a breakdance spin, which no, is not a Capoeira move. But coming out of this breakdance, hidden within the flames, is a Capoeira move known as Chapeau de Couro, which is a kick where you shoot in at a very low angle, then fall backwards to create momentum for a roundhouse kick. After the Chapeau de Couro lands, Dante jumps backwards with another Macaco and uses Gilgamesh's flames to launch the opponent. For Gilgamesh's kick mode, I would say that all in all, it's a very true expression of Capoeira. Though if I had any notes, I would tell Dante to keep that Ginga low and more stable, and also place his hands on the ground so as to fully utilize the torque and the power that comes up from the ground for these kicks. Gilgamesh's blow mode, on the other hand, is highly inspired by boxing. When you switch into blow mode, you do a spinning back fist, which is a pretty uncommon move for boxing, but not unheard of. Rapidly releasing the attack button will release a series of flicker jabs created by Thomas Hearns, whereas holding the attack button will cause you to bob and weave. Looking at Dante's bob and weave, you can see that he is mostly getting the movement through squats rather than bowing with his waist, which in real life is not good form and would tire you out very quickly. Holding the attack button and then moving side to side with the stick will cause Dante to step off sides, which can set up counter moves if done with the appropriate timing. The forward attack button shows Dante shooting in for a big punch, but looking closely we can see that it's actually a very well executed shoot-in, where Dante brings his guard up, changes levels, then shoots in, fixes his posture and his structure before going in for the punch. For blow mode Swordmaster moves, we have a very slow punch that has multiple hits that would honestly not be very good for real life, but is very great for video games. What is more interesting from a boxing perspective is the other Swordmaster move, which is this uppercut. However, it is not simply an uppercut, but the smash jab created by Donovan Ruddock, also known as a shovel hook. To set it up, Dante drops his lead hand, then brings it up in a hooking motion before ending with his fist high in the air. Dropping the lead hand for the shovel hook is very important because while making you vulnerable, it also causes your opponent to take the bait and open up their guard in order to take another hit. While their guard is open, you bring your smash hook upwards and it connects with the opponent's chin. Well, that's all the martial arts influence I was able to find in Devil May Cry. If you were able to find something else, please let me know by hitting all of the YouTube buttons down below. Thank you for watching. Now get out there and train that smokin' sexy style.